Good morning, Ranger woodworkers. Back in the shop again this morning. Got our closet organizer. Gonna keep working on that today. Get a few more steps done. I got the response from quite a few of you guys, and the overwhelming response on the style of joint would be the miter. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut the pieces to size this morning, miter the corners, and then join it with a biscuit or with a domino. Actually, I'm gonna show you how the domino works, and then dry fit it and see if we can get it maybe glued today. We're going to need to make each corner 45 degrees, so I moved the miter saw over to 45 degrees, and I'm going to slide these over to the edge and set it up at 45 and cut that down. So one thing to remember when you're working with miter joints is that if they're not perfect, like exactly the same size on like a picture frame or something like this, it's going to be really hard to get those joints to come together right. So I cut one perfectly to the size I want, and now I cut the second edge. And now I'm lining this up, and I drew a mark across here, and now I'm going to cut that off. My first cut, I'm going to cut about a 1/16 of an inch away from my line, and then I'm going to move it over and just make one sliver cut to get a final accurate clean cut on the end. That first cut, when I cut through it, is going to be a little bit rough, and I may lose a little accuracy, and so that's why I like to cut it off a little bit oversized and then trim it to my final size. Alright, so we've got this thing down to 48 by 24. I have mitered all the corners. Cut that 45-degree angle, and so it all comes together like that, just like you said. Now, last thing she wanted was a divider in the middle, about like that. But she only wanted that 2 inches, and this is still 3, like the rest of the stuff. So I'm gonna cut this down on the table saw, and I gotta make it a little bit shorter, and we'll fit that in next. I got this cut. It's still a little bit oversized, so I got a little bit of space to cut it down to fit inside there. But that'll be like 2 inches. And these are 3, and kind of look like a window frame in the closet. Again, we're going to put a little metal bar across here for necklaces or earrings, I think. Some hooks on this guy for necklaces, hooks up here for my hats. And I like to hang up my jeans, and so I'm going to put some hooks on the bottom down here for my pants. And that'll be our little closet wall organizer. The next thing we're going to do is put a miter joint, a domino in the middle here to connect this together to make that nice and strong. Alright, so this is our Festool domino. It's one of the best machines I've ever used. I hook it right up to the vacuum, put the vacuum on auto, plug the domino in here, and so when I pull the trigger on the domino, the vacuum turns on and automatically sucks all the dust and chips down that hose. You guys would have used the domino when you made your bench. For the lower members, you put a little domino slot like that in the bottom for both sides, and then you put one on the end of your piece, and we put a domino in there, and those go together like that. So we're gonna put a domino slot here, a domino slot here, take one of the dominoes, looks like this, it's gonna go into that slot, connect there, and make a nice strong joint. Or again, with your bench, had you got this far, we're gonna put the domino in there, in there. Of course, it would have been a shorter one, it would fit in there like that. So I'm gonna get it set up and cut some dominoes. The miter joint's a pretty solid joint. The domino is just going to make it extra strong. And so what I want to do is line up my two pieces together and make a perpendicular line. And that's where my domino hole will be. And I'll connect that. So I'll do that with all 4 miters. And it is a European, so it uses metric system, and so our domino that I've got here is about 50 millimeters, and so I want to set the depth on the domino to about half of that, so I'm going to move this down to 25 millimeters. I can do this with one hand. There we go. So now we're set at 25 millimeters, and so if I do 2 25 millimeter holes, that should accommodate a 50 millimeter domino. I'm going to put the fence down 90 degrees so I can lock into the side of that. And I'm going to take this, find my pencil mark, right there, line it up, right through that clear glass, make sure I'm perfectly square, hold the handle good, and push it in and make my cut. 1. Repeat 8 more times. At the shop, I'm actually out of dominoes in here. And so I actually found like 4 of them. So this one I can cut in half, and these 2 I can cut down to 50, and I'll get my 4 dominoes. But I probably won't be able to finish my middle part today. But that's kind of okay, because I actually think I forgot if she wanted it exactly centered, or if it was up or down a little bit. So we'll get these dominoes cut out and dry fit it together, and that'll be it for today. Take the domino, we'll put it into the slot, slide it over to here, and align that up, and put that together. And that'll give us a nice alignment for the miter, and also beef up the strength. Should any of my pants get super heavy, or my wife's bling necklaces or earrings. But anyway, probably way overbuilt. But again, we're using some of that old oak from my house. These are actually the old 2x4s. Kind of that rustic reclaimed look. And so free wood and cool project. So there it is with the dominoes in place. Again, it will still need to be clamped and glued and all that. But I got to get that middle section figured out where I want that before I go any further. And so nice, super solid miter joints for this closet organizer. All right, well, like I said, I'm gonna send a Google form, ask you a couple questions, fill it out, and have a good one. Catch you guys later.